many things I appreciate about you, Flame. It's that you stick to a schedule. It must be Wednesday, Dragons, because look what's joining us for today's program. That is so exciting. Flame, good morning. Good morning, Dragons. I'm Mr. Salerno, and this is Flame, and the giant map is joining us for some fun. And we want to welcome you to the news of Camelot. Today's Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. And Flame, before we get going on our giant map show, let's take a moment to pause, put our hand on our hearts, and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may now pause for the moment of silence. Thanks, Dragons. And Flame, the sun is going to rise today at 7:06 in the morning, and it's going to set at 7:25 in the late evening. And Dragons, you might notice that Flame and I are kind of far apart today. And the reason we're so far apart is Flame was going over some of the bodies of water that we've already used with the giant map. This is why the giant map is with us. And remember, let's go back 2 weeks ago. We did the Mississippi River and the Missouri Rivers, right? Those are the two biggest rivers in North America. And then last week we were over here and we were doing the Great Lakes, and we learned that those were the biggest collection of fresh water in the whole world. And today, Dragons, we'll do something else that's the biggest. And I'll give you a little hint. Look where Flame has positioned himself. Where has Flame positioned himself? That's right, down here at this part of the world. And we're going to highlight this wonderful body of water right here. This is the Gulf of Mexico. Down here in the Gulf of Mexico, Dragons. And you might say, well, wait a minute. We've done rivers. We've done lakes. We have streams and ponds. A gulf. Even to say it is kind of funny. A gulf. You think of maybe golf. That's spelled a little differently. But the Gulf, the term Gulf, means that it is a large body of water, mostly surrounded by land, and might have a direct connection to an ocean. And a gulf is a little different than an ocean because you can spot it, whereas an ocean might go on for a long, long ways. But the Gulf of Mexico, Dragons, is the biggest gulf in the world. And we're fortunate that here in the United States, it borders so many of our states. We have Texas and Louisiana, Mississippi, a little bit of Alabama right here, and mostly known for the great state of Florida, where the Gulf of Mexico borders. It has so much what's called biodiversity, where there is all kinds of coral and fish and sea life and other plants that keep the environment very healthy and very vibrant. One of the many interesting things about the Gulf of Mexico is that not only are parts of the Gulf very, very deep, where you can find all kinds of fish and different sea animals, but it's also very, very shallow, and is known for having a lot of boat and shipwrecks, even back before we were filming things, where explorers would come over from Europe and try to settle here in North America. Often they would run into trouble because the Gulf of Mexico is so shallow in many parts. It is said that the Gulf of Mexico was formed 300 million years ago when the Earth almost sank to a point where the pressure of the water was so great that it formed this giant Gulf of Mexico, which is really neat. Now, the neat thing, too, about the Gulf of Mexico is it has so much energy. It has rich oil, some natural gas. It has a big continental shelf around Florida and what was called the Yucatan Peninsula. And the Yucatan Peninsula is one of the borders that is easily accessible for things like oil rigs or other machinery that dig deep into the Gulf of Mexico. So often when we're trying to get energy, this is a main source for not only our country's energy, but for the world's energy. Fisheries are also extremely productive here in the Gulf of Mexico. The Gulf of Mexico has 4 of the country's largest fishing ports, and Mexico, the region, has 8 of the 20 largest in the entire world, which we thought was pretty neat. And Dragons, They're the 10th biggest body of water in the whole world is right here, close to our wonderful bordering states here in the south. So if you've ever been near the Gulf of Mexico, I know Flame's been to the Gulf of Mexico because of all the tasty fish, and we know what he likes to snack on. If you ever get to the Gulf of Mexico, see if you can appreciate just how beautiful it is, just how big it is. It's probably going to be pretty warm when you go to travel. Make that a point when you go to visit to notice how gorgeous and how open it is. The Gulf of Mexico, Dragons, one of the most wonderful bodies of water that we are fortunate to have next to so many of our United States. Da-da-da! It's time for the birthday box. All right, Flame, what do we got here in the birthday box? It's the 24th, so we have, all right, Jairo Moya Villarreal in 3rd grade. Jairo, happy birthday to you. That's wonderful. And Logan Steeder in 6th grade. Logan, great job, man. Happy birthday to you. And let's check the mail. Well, Dragons, we know what this is, right? We know what this is. What's this, Flame? You better believe it. Thank you, Miss Flaherty, for sending us some mail. Dear Dragons, hope you're off to a great start this week. I heard that Flame was saying that we are appreciating the good in others. I always like to try to take 10 seconds to appreciate all of the good that I have for the people working at Camelot. When you get a moment, Dragons, take those 10 seconds to think, what do I appreciate in the people that I work with? Well, that's a pretty cool question, Miss Flaherty. Lots of love, Miss Flaherty. So now, Flame, sometimes we're so busy with the day in and the day out assignments, or all of the chores that we might have to do at home, or all the things that we might be thinking in the moment, that we don't take those 10 seconds to say, what do I appreciate in Flame? Because I always need you to get the map, and I always need you to get ready, right? But if I said, what do I appreciate so much with you? Well, there's so many different things. It's not as if you have to list all of them, but maybe just one thing to boost someone's confidence or just to make them feel good. That can make such a big difference, Dragons. Flame, I appreciate how you stick to a schedule and how you want to make the giant map a big part of our Wednesdays in March. I am so proud of you, and you're getting very strong carrying this big map. So good for you, Flame. Dragons, if you have an opportunity to continue to bring in these cereal boxes, we got 2 more. We got a Smart Start and we got a Honey Nut Cheerios. They make fantastic postcards, so bring those in. We'll cut these out and get those for our big assignment that we're going to work on throughout the break and into the month of April. So, on behalf of Flame, I'm Mr. Salerno. Hope you enjoyed our giant map today, Dragons, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.